Take if you decide to go on a blind date as a woman. Make sure to talk to him for a while first. Get to know him. Ask to see pictures. Make sure it's actually him and not some underage boy in middle school who's never seen boobs up close before. See if anyone you know knows him. The more he's known, the worse it is. If he passes those tests, you're on the right track. Make sure to tell your mom, show her pictures, lie to her and say you knew him from school or work or anything other than, my friend saw him on Tinder and thought he was probably safe. Ask about his family, if his parents are still together. What's his dad like? If he's like his dad, is that a bad thing? See if you have anything in common. The more you have in common, the less awkward the first date will be. If he passes those tests, maybe it's time to say yes to going out with him. Make sure to go upstairs and tell your parents where you are going. Ask them to check their locations frequently just in case you do not make it there. See if your siblings are sleeping before you go. Make sure you tell everyone in the house you love them just in case. If you are still safe, he has passed the test and your stomach will ease a little bit as you get to the movie, restaurant, bar. Make sure not to leave your drink unattended when you get up. Ask your friends to come pick you up if you send a certain emoji in color-coordinated order. Red means call the cops. See if he genuinely wants to get to know more about you or is checking the time to see if he can still get a hotel room. If he passes those tests, you might get home safe. Your heart might stop thumping as you wonder about the risks of finding love as a woman. The first time I went on a blind date, my friend knew him. He wanted to get dinner. He was a college boy who loved his mother. He was a keeper. She knew him since she was young. I haven't seen love since it said no one could handle me. No one could love me. He didn't have money for dinner or a car. He just dropped out of school and has a son he's not allowed to see, but won't tell me why. Is it rape if you're sleeping? Is it fake if you feel like you deserve it to be punished? You can't be handled anyway. Nobody loves you anyway. The second time I went on a blind date, he wanted to get ice cream. Even yelled at the guy for getting me the wrong kind. Stood up for me. Some would say he even protected me until we wound up in the park and I owe him something for paying for my ice cream. The third time I went on a blind date, I made sure to meet him at the restaurant. Sent out my location to my mother, my father, and 4 of my friends. Told all of them when I got there. Made sure to keep Mace in the wallet he complimented me on. As he told me about his day, I embody my body in his trunk. He is trying to be nice, but I cannot hear a word he is saying. I wonder if it's a ploy to try and get me home, take me home, his home. He reaches for my hand and I flinch. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe I should go home. I don't know if I'm safe. I cannot eat when I do not know if my mom will be able to say hi to me the next day. A woman in Mississippi went on a blind date to get some food, told her mother she thinks he could be the one. He loves me. He's even taking me to my favorite restaurant, even promised to pay, but instead she ended up being the meal, said bye to her parents for the last time that night, ended up in pieces on his plate that night. A woman in Nevada got picked up to go bowling with him and some friends. She didn't recognize the road. She couldn't remember those street names until they named the streets after her because that is where he buried her after he got what he wanted. A woman in New Jersey broke up with her boyfriend and was finally strong enough to go out with a new guy. She forgot her ex still tracked her, controlled her, followed her to the restaurant, swung her around his shoulder like the garbage he said she was, and had his way with her for the last time. This is what she was anyway, he said. Something to use and throw out. I am sick of being worried every time I step out of the house with a man. I am sick of men being weapons and women being the center of the target. How are women supposed to find love when they don't even know if they are safe enough to come home that night? How are women supposed to go out if everyone around them could be a predator? If every man around her is taught to be a predator and she is taught to be the victim? But most of the time, it's too late, and she is just another number, percentage, body gone missing.